Okay, everyone, welcome to Unit Masters Cohort 7. This is like really crazy that we've had this program for a year now, and it's going like, I don't know, it feels super rewarding because this was like really literally the first anniversary of the Unit Masters program, and we trained, I guess, about over 1,000 people already in that program. And it's really, really cool to see how people go from week 1, where basically there's not so much knowledge, to week 6, where people sometimes are super keen on issuing their own token or run or participate in a token project. So for those of you who attended the first speaker session and were like, whoa, what is this? I didn't understand anything. Don't worry at all. We record everything, and you will see over the course of the next weeks that your vocabulary, your ability to contextualize things and make connections between the different concepts will improve. And all of a sudden, like, you hear a buzz term and you'll be able to map it and make your own assessment of what actually does it mean and what do I take away from it? Do I think it's good or do I think it's fluff? And this is basically the goal of Unit Masters, to have you trained in a way that after 6 weeks, of course, if you participate, that's a function, like your progress, it's a function of your time that you put in. But hopefully, if all goes well, after 6 weeks, you'll be able to really be critical and literate in a way that you hear something and that you either know what to think about it, or you know where to look up more about it and then make your own assessment. So this is why we call it the blockchain literacy program. And currently at Solana Forum Breakpoint, Solana, I think, is at the moment 4th largest blockchain project according to CoinMarketCap. And this is why I'm not having a computer. I'm really sorry. There was no way to plug in the computer because everything is like really, really busy right now, and everywhere there's lots of people running around. It's a lot of hype here, a lot of learning, but just this is why I'm currently a bit like unprepared, I would say. Sorry about that. So Unit Masters has three weekly elements. One is like the mentoring sessions. So this is Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're always recorded. And these are the sessions where we bring in people who are practitioners in the field, and they just share their knowledge. They are not, they're not trained teachers. So sometimes the way they present things might not be like in the way that like a university professor would have thought about like the way to present it to people, because these people are typically not, they haven't studied pedagogy, or I don't know how to say in English, right? So when you listen to them, they're just sharing, and it's just information. It's like just data points. And then your job as like participants is to make, like, cluster that into information and then draw an insight of it. So typically after each mentoring session, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we will send out a survey where we ask you to fill in the key takeaways. And this is shared with everyone else. It's anonymous, so you don't, like, you can just write whatever you think. And the collective results, they are published so that we can all, like, see what the other took away from it. And sometimes, because we have different training backgrounds, because we have different levels of understanding, we just get very diverse perspectives. And this is really, really good. So I encourage you to, after Tuesdays and Thursdays, when you have a chance, like, just take a minute and put down like 1 or 2 key insights or questions that you had after each session. And over the time, you will also see what has actually changed in your own understanding of the blockchain ecosystem. We are a very holistic course. So it's not only about the blockchain technology. Technology is only actually a small part of it. It's really more about understanding the bigger ecosystem around it. And it's an ecosystem, and it is an economy in itself. It's like an industry with various sub-industries. So we bring people from the different stakeholder areas of this economy, and then you will get a full-fledged picture. So blockchain is not only Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's like a lot of people who contribute to these networks to make it actually the ecosystem that it is today. The second pillar of Unit Masters is the coaching program. So the coaching is like every Wednesday at this time. So you're all here right now. Everything is voluntarily. Like, we don't enforce anything on anyone. So you can participate, but you don't have to participate. Wednesdays is the time for you to do assignments and discuss these assignments with the others and learn, like, in a guided, structured way about what are actually the key concepts. We want you to become blockchain literate, but it also means that you need to be speaking a lot, because literacy, not only understanding, but actually blockchain fluency maybe. So the idea is, after 6 weeks, or actually already after today's session, you'll be able to explain to your friends a little bit what is this, because let's be honest, even when there's a lot of hype right now, I think 95% of the world still doesn't really understand cryptocurrency or blockchain or anything. So you will be like the pioneers, like these 5% ahead of the curve. And probably a lot of people will ask you about it, and then you should be knowledgeable to just sharing. And it takes many, many repetitions to be able to express the things in a short way. And this is the goal of the Wednesday sessions, to give everyone a chance to just practice in a very safe environment, how to explain certain concepts to others. And the coaching sessions, we always have assignments. They can be found on the online course portal. And then they are just like playful ways to try out different things. It's not a very academic course. This unit masters, compared to different programs, will be more on the holistic, on the strategy management level, looking at an ecosystem. After that, I guess you can deep dive into like the more technical courses, the more specific courses, advanced courses like DeFi and so on and so forth. Here we're really introductory level. And the third pillar is the study groups. So you have the option to team up with each other, with whomever you like, in groups of 3 to 5 people, and meet up once a week. We've seen over the course of the past year, of the previous 6 batches, is that when people participate in these weekly accountability groups and just talk to each other and keep each other on track, the probability of them going through the 6 weeks successfully is much higher, like less dropout, better quality, better understanding. Why? Because you're just training yourself to speak about these things. And because you realize while you're speaking that you have a lot of question marks, you then have a very clear guidance of where to look deeper. And you benefit from like having a group of friends who then go through the same journey with you. We have a study group coordinator. Her name is Hannah. And Hannah is like organizing and managing the student matching group. So if you have any questions, if you're lost or you can't find anyone but yourself, then always reach out to Hannah and get her support. So these are the 3 elements, like live mentoring sessions. They're all recorded. Then on Wednesday, we have these assignments that are based on a little bit of reading, not too much reading, because we think the space is developing so fast. So it doesn't make sense to really provide guided, really big readings, because in 2 months they might be outdated already. But we want to show you how to look into different concepts. And then the third pillar, the self-accountability groups, just so you can practice in your own fun environment. And we've seen a few groups, they're still friends. So some of the study groups, they're still meeting up every now and then and just talk about life, because they feel like they are alone in their endeavor around their own community, and then they enjoy very much to have a group of friends who have similar interests. But that's up to you. So you can choose different groups, build your own group, invite other friends to join the group, and so on. And we know based on data that this is kind of a good approach if you want to commit really the 6 weeks to studying blockchain. So far, so good. Do we have any first questions?
Yes, hi, I'm Margot. I was looking for the recording of yesterday's session. I'm not sure where it is.
Okay, this was a little, we will need to put it on, because there was a misunderstanding in the team of who had done that. And then we thought it was already up, but it was not up. I just checked it, and it needs to be uploaded. Yeah, hopefully we'll be done like after our course. Okay, any other questions? If not, then we can get straight into the practicing. So for today's session, the individual assignment was to get a bit fluent about different key concepts of the Internet of Value, Web3, and so on. And we've provided the 5 key concepts, like what is Web3, what is Internet of Value, decentralization, and so on. You've had it in the email. What we will do is we just go into breakout rooms, and we have them like 12 minutes each. And then within these 12 minutes, you will be hopefully like 3 to 4 people per group. Can also be 2, it doesn't matter. And then you just share about what is your perspective, like what do you think it is? And maybe some of you have already done the research or are already knowledgeable about it. You can just share with the others. So it should be like really peer-to-peer talking about these topics and starting to frame them in a little bit. we have provided the exercises in a way that we ask you to even go one step further, to put yourself into a position that you need to explain it to somebody who's like, a mobile native person, somebody who just grew up with the mobile phone, or somebody who actually maybe came from a generation where there were no mobile phones, or somebody at your age range. So you can just pick and choose with different personas, because the way people see the world is quite differently, right? So the way you need to explain a concept and use an analogy to explain that concept will be completely different according to your target group. And this is the task to solve, and it's playful. So hopefully, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just try to see how to explain it. It's very vast and broad concepts, and we keep it very vast and broad because there is no right or wrong answer to that. Everyone explains it differently, and there's no single right source of truth that says this exactly means decentralization. Yeah, it always depends on what context and so on. And your job will be just to pick a little bit and play around in your given time frame, and then ask each other questions in a supportive way. Like when you mentioned what did you mean by that? Could you please clarify or help me understand? I couldn't follow here and there, and then explain what was missing. I think this is maybe it. Let me just check through the chat. Okay, we don't have. So we have 37 people in the room. Maybe we make groups of 4 and we have 12 minutes in the breakout rooms, and then we come back for a debrief together, and we can hear 1 or 2 people sharing about what they learned across the different elements and across the exercise. Would our co-host please help us opening up the breakout rooms and leave them open for 12 minutes?
Yeah, I think I need you to endow and sort of give me the rights.
Sorry, what do you mean?
The rights to be, I don't see myself as a co-host.
Lorenzo, I actually gave you co-host rights.
But I don't have the room management controls here.
Okay, what I'll do is I make you a host. Maybe then it works.
That's right. Yep. Good. So we have, we say 30, we're shrinking a little bit. Now it's 33, let's say 30. So it's going to be 8 rooms of 4 people each. That's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, maybe make 7 rooms. So we have a little bit of room so that people or maybe make 6 rooms. And then this is good because more people might drop out due to internet, or also they don't feel prepared. Okay. It's okay. Everybody don't feel pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And 12 minutes.
Yeah. And we also ask everyone to activate their video and at least the audio, so that we do this interactively. Okay. So I'm about to push the button. Are you ready?
Yeah, make me a co-host, please, also, just in case.
Yeah, first I open the rooms and then I make you co-host. All right.
Thank you so much.
Sometimes
people don't see the room popping up. So everyone who hasn't seen their room, you click on that little, I don't know, where is it, at the bottom of the screen with the 4 quarters or quadrants. Yeah, we can see Joseph, Fabu, Ahaan. Okay, you found the breakout rooms.
Hi guys, hello.
Hello. You should be in a breakout room, everyone.
Oh, how do I do that? I have no idea.
You should have a pop-up.
Yeah, please, Lorenzo. You
should have a pop-up with the button and say join the room.
Yeah, I'm not getting a pop-up on my screen for some reason. Like it says the host has opened breakout rooms. Please wait to be assigned.
Okay, let me see if I can send you. Oh, okay. It's happening. I think you have to do that. I cannot forcibly send you there. Sorry.
Okay, let me try rejoining. Let's see if that works.
All right. Yeah, okay. And Joseph probably not there.
Yeah, maybe sometimes people join in and they don't. They are just working on the side and they just want to tune in. That's fine too.
Okay.
Oh, Joseph left.
Yeah, and then I can go and join a room.
Okay, I think we're waiting for another 30 seconds until everybody else comes back. Wow, I can see people are already talking about real projects. You guys are advanced. Did we lose half of our participants during the call, or are they still in the breakout rooms?
Maybe the topics were so pressing and interesting that they don't want to come back and want to keep talking about that.
Yeah, we will notice this will happen over and over again, because time is always a bottleneck resource. So you could speak like for 3 hours on the same topic. Unfortunately, or luckily, we don't have that privilege to speak forever on the topics that need to wrap it up. And so, thanks everyone for going into the breakout rooms. I think we have 13 more minutes where we can do a little bit of a debrief together. And the way it works is I'm not able to see all the participants on screen because I'm on my phone, but Lorenzo, our omnipresent co-host for today, can see that. So you can raise your hands and then I'll give the word to Lorenzo to moderate and call you up. The idea is to share notable insights from the discussions and also from your research, whatever you feel like, would benefit the community of students in here, 35 people in the room, what would be beneficial for everyone to hear that you found beneficial to hear. You can just use the raise hands function.
Ignacio, yes.
I didn't know how to raise hand in the application, so I just raised my hand.
Oh, you did it perfectly. This is the best way.
Yeah, great.
Also share a little bit where you're from and from which perspective are you looking at things, like, what's your training, your background, so that helps us also understand where you're coming from.
I am a 30 years old hydraulic engineer from Chile. I have been researching about cryptocurrency and have been investing for about 2 years now. I am actually right now developing my own project, crypto project. I have a team. We are trying to do something crazy, and I joined this class in order to expand my knowledge and maybe share my insights with other people, similar thoughts, because it's not easy to get people that can, understand this kind of concepts. Well, I think, well, one of the things that I said in the room was that I believe that Web 3.0 distributed ledger and all this concept that we were talking about is going to save the world, because nowadays trust in politicians and trust in money even is very deep, like broken, right? We can see that in every election. We can see people, going to the streets to protest. And I believe a distributed ledger where trust and decentralization is the key of the functioning system, will bring different kind of approach in order for community making and value adding among different kind of projects. That's like my own insights, and that's why I have been trying to get into crypto so hard, because I think it's almost a responsibility nowadays.
Wow, beautiful sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
David, yes, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Ignacio, and thanks everybody else for sharing. At first, just a minute where I come from. I am in the crypto space for, I think, early 2017, when a lot of people went in for investment reasons at the time. And ever since, I've been highly engulfed in this whole universe and trying to learn and study and keep my head above water with all the news and all the speed that things do go fast. And with a friend of mine, we have started to help newbies into this universe ever since like early this year, to help people orientate, to don't get messed up, to have the right mindset, to learn the fundamentals and just to see it for what it is and not for what it's obviously not, which is not a fast way to make all these fortunes and so on. So that's kind of the background, and I love to see all of you who is at different stages of learning what this ecosystem has to provide. What I would like to ask you, Ignacio, is what you just said, that your hope, and I do agree, that I think there's applications in this ecosystem that could save the world and should save the world, because leadership is broken, like big time. How do you see that systems like a government, regardless of which one that could be, can be effectively not substituted, but secured in a way that blockchain technology could make a difference?
Could I please ask, like, let's have as many voices as possible. So if somebody else apart from Ignacio has an answer to that, please share your perspective. We know that there's no right or wrong answer to that. So everybody who kind of feels like they have something to share about that specific question of David, please share. And if no one, of course, Ignacio can speak to, but just like, let's have distributed share of voice.
Anyone can raise their hand if someone can talk instead of me.
Ahaan, you raised your hand, but I guess you want to ask another question or you want to answer this question?
Oh, David asked me, I think, was a question, or...
Yeah, no, I'd raise my hand to go after David. So Ignacio, you can go ahead.
Sure. Well, I actually saw a video about something called the difference between representative democracy and direct democracy, or something like that. And I believe blockchain can have the ability to be more direct according to the laws making, but that will need a full breakout of the current system first, because you need the masses to adopt blockchain first. So everyone should have a blockchain wallet, and then we need to there need to be implemented an identity, maybe NFT or something like that. I think there are companies working on that already. I'm not deep into it, but where you can vote and do not duplicate your vote through blockchain, and that way directly vote for the laws that you think that are better for society. That could be a way. I think that answers your question. I don't know.
Thanks for that. Just one last sentence, and I don't want to spoil everybody's chance to speak. I come from a background where I deal with change in leadership and change in organizations. And there's one thing that I learned over the last years is change usually does never come from within. And when we look at these organizations that we face that we would like to be changed, so they're more human and more, well, anyway, then I have my doubts, and I'm very much afraid that this change that we all would like to have is not going to come from within these organizations. Now, I don't know how we get this in there. We could probably speak for years here, but yeah, I have my doubts that there's going to be change just like this happening. So I hope there will be an answer soon.
Maybe I can add two things, or two potential answers to your questions, David, and then I give the word to Ahaan. One application that I see can go in that direction is about trusting information, and the fact that the information is not hoarded in one place, and it's not up to one category to keep and distribute. These automatically makes any organization more accountable, will make any organization more accountable. Another piece that I see, but maybe a bit of a science fiction, same as smart contracts can regulate transactions among parties. Maybe in the future there will be something close to smart policies, where governments will have laws and applications of law not dependent on the bias of human operators, but just based on policy making, which will be more transparent. These could be potential scenarios. Ahaan.
Thank you guys. All of y'all were quite insightful. So I'd like to just give a brief background about myself. So I'm a law student in India, and my interest in the space started back in 2017. That's like the first time I got exposed to Bitcoin and like, what it was. Just put a small amount of money in Bitcoin. And ever since, like, I feel like every person has a role to play in the blockchain world, and I sort of come from the regulatory, legal, and policy and analysis side of things. So as to how to actually, like, I like to say that law is actually that which will either enable a technology to flourish or flounder. So like I believe that's like sort of where my contribution in the space comes from. And definitely I think there's a lot of potential. There's obviously going to be a lot of rigidity to the kind of change and the disruption that we are slowly seeing and undergoing. But I do believe definitely there's been a positive trend in regulation around the world, especially this past year. And it's going to only continue going forward. So yeah, happy to be here and happy to connect with you guys.
Great. Thanks a lot, everyone, for sharing. Is anybody else wanted to share something? Else I'll do a wrap up of the session.
Ignacio. Oh, Alexander.
Okay. Okay. I can, one of the rigidity I can feel from people I talk to is like there's no real world use case that demonstrates the efficacy and efficiency of blockchain based or distributed ledger based or Web3 based new technology. So, and I think it would take as well a great leap for many people. Like I come from Europe, from France, and I can see already like people, they need to have a big leap into technology to understand all those concepts. And most people, like, they don't even bother trying to understand all the new technology that is flourishing these days. So when after it comes to the politics, and there's a lot of ego as well at play here, and I think no one's want the system to change, at least the one controlling everything. So I think the change will have to come from all the population that are not really being served properly within our democracies or anything.
Okay. Thank you all for sharing. Very valuable.
There's another hand up. Do we have time for that, or?
Okay, if it's short, then let's do it, and then I will do a short wrap up, and we end with like 3 minutes after our planned ending.
Samson?
Okay, yeah, good afternoon. I'm Samson, and I'm new into the blockchain ecosystem, but then, just trying to really understand how the system works. And then this question, of course, directed to everyone, but then majorly to Raizada, I think is the one that is from the law aspect. So my question is this: in as much as, yes, I'm a supporter of decentralization, but then I still understand that as much as one wants something to be well decentralized, there's still need for, even if, now talking from the legal aspects, even in democracy and all, the direct democracy, representative democracy, there still has to be someone that is still regarded as the one, frontiering the actions. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, like a major leader. So now that we have, blockchain and all, pushing for total decentralization, what I'm trying to ask now, is it the whole blockchain ecosystem, is it pushing for partial decentralization or total decentralization?
Okay, thanks a lot for asking this very valuable question. I think just want to integrate the answer into the wrap up of the session. Important for us in this course is basically to always link different concepts into our assessments being our answers. So just imagine you guys are all nodes in a different network, and you need to come to a consensus, or not a consensus, but the same level of information, and then you can make your own decision if you want to validate that or not. So when we speak about how we see the world, let's try for the next sessions to integrate which concepts we're talking about, how we define this concept, and in which way we actually think it will benefit or not benefit the world, right? When we speak about decentralization, what do we understand with this decentralization, like which aspects of it, and which way would it then affect society as we see it. Today, we spoke a lot about governance, the political, human decision-making layer of decentralization. We had some doubts whether and how that would be implemented. That's very, very fair points, because from my observations, currently, we are experiencing a lot of trend and money flowing into what we call DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, which is linked to governance in decentralized systems. And this will be covered in week 3 when we speak about blockchain incentive alignment, and then also a part on decentralized autonomous governance organization. And from what I understand, talking to the people in the field also, there's no right single answer. And also getting back to what Samson asked just right now, even within the layer 1 protocols, which is like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and so on, they have different fundamental philosophies on which they were built. And this goes back to how much decentralization they want. The blockchain trilemma, for example, that was part of, I think, the reading for week 1. So what we will aim at is looking at different concepts, trying to understand what they mean, and then what they could mean or could not mean for society. And I think when you guys do like a little bit more research or prepare for the Thursday session, try to understand what is actually your own definition of Internet of Value. What is your own definition of the blockchain trilemma? What is like the definition of distributed ledger technologies? And when it means that, what would it actually mean in my everyday life? And then over time, we can refine and discuss in a targeted, like in a directed way. So then we can say, okay, let's talk about the governance, like human decision-making level, and how does that actually relate to decentralization? So this will be the common thread around the next 6 weeks, that we will revisit the same topics again, but just from a different frame. And hopefully then after 6 weeks, you have like a holistic frame and different perspectives and different arguments, pro and contra a certain idea. Because really we are so early in the stage that there's no real fundamental decision made already across the globe. How much decentralization should we have, and then on which level? All the big protocols and the people who shape these are still not aligned on this space, and that's why we have different blockchains emerging. And over time you will learn to look deeper and see what are actually their potential views. And even within these blockchain ecosystems, like the teams, they are decentralized teams, not all team members agree on how the world should look like. And then so nobody in the future would also hopefully ask you to agree or commit on a certain view, but hopefully also you will maintain your own critical view and be able just to say why you think this view will not lead to, like this trend will not lead to this and this conclusion, right? And then you can work towards building that alternative system that you want to see, because you're still in the early pioneer space where every of your action, and somebody said it earlier, has a lot of impact on how the future looks like, because it's being built right now as we speak. So with that said, you have your content online, you can always revisit it. And then on Thursday, we have the speaker session with Alice, who is currently building Skynet, which is a decentralized form of internet. It's one of the competitors, I believe, to Helium, for example. So how can we provide internet coverage or 5G coverage in a decentralized way? And first, in order to even understand the new world, we need to understand the old world. This is why, for example, in our exercises, we ask also, like, what's the difference between Web 2 and Web 3? Because if we want to say what is innovative about Web 3, we need to understand what was not innovative about Web 2. What's the difference between Web 2 and Web 1? Like these kinds of things, I think we will need to work out over the next days, weeks together. It was very good to have you all with us, and we will keep on having these discussions. And you also have the invitation to meet up in your small study groups and get deeper into that so that you have more time. Thanks, everyone, and see you tomorrow or next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Many thanks. Ciao.
Right, so it's soon going to be just you and I. So
Yeah, good idea.
we don't really have to do anything.
Indeed, yes.
How are you doing, man?
Good, good. How
Yeah,
are you?
yeah, good. Where are you based?
Well, right now I'm in my parents' place. So this is the room where where I was when I was at university.
Oh, that's nice. You know, it's your background is blurred, but yeah.
Okay, again, I'm blurred. Let me
No,
turn
it's
that
okay.
away.
Don't worry about it.
But normally I'm in Switzerland. I live in Zurich.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I
I'm
had
just
plans
here
to visit Zurich, you know, with the in mind to potentially go and live there,
Yep.
and that's never happened.
Yeah. Where are you?
London.
London. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Many people come. It's almost like a easy hope. I don't know now with Brexit and everything, but maybe it doesn't really matter.
It does. No, Brexit, no, but you still have to like do the tests and like COVID forms, locator, whatever. It's not as.
Oh, but
yeah.
you were thinking of moving to Switzerland or just visiting?
Nah, moving. So visiting first, right? And then my partner Lorraine, she hurt her ankle and she couldn't walk, and we had to cancel the trip. So it's as simple as that. But that was like that was maybe 4 years ago. And yeah, I've been in London. You know, I moved to London after INSEAD, and then I've been here since.
Yeah.
And for the last 7 years or 8 years, I've been thinking of leaving London, and I haven't been able to.
It's it has a high gravity. Once you're there, you don't really feel like going anywhere unless you get really tired of, I don't know, how your commute is or where you live. That can have a certain influence, but otherwise it's such a great place to be.
Yeah, it is. I like it. So I'm not doing it anymore, like trying to leave. I'm kind of happy here. But I am envious because you have mountains around, and I don't know whether you take advantage and you go for hikes, but that's one thing that I wish I had easily with easy access to.
Yeah. No, it is easy. Yeah, I don't do that all the time, but yes, I know it's there. So it's also like a comforting thought. If I want, I can go. Then I don't need to today, but just in case.
So where have you been over the years?
So I also was in London for a year and a half after INSEAD, then came to Zurich for 1 year against my will. The company just reorganized and they said, okay, either you go there or you leave. And then I moved there. And then I escaped as soon as possible. I went to Tokyo for 6 years. It was not supposed to be 6, but then it became 6, and I was there for until I was about to become Japanese, and then the same company sent me back to Zurich, where I've been since then. That was 5 years ago, almost 6. Oh shit, yeah, 5. But then I'm not with that company anymore. So now I'm in a explorer / figure transition time. And
oh, very nice. I love those ones. I've been through so many of those. I've been one as well. You know, I've just quit my job like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my God, what was it?
I keep quitting. You know, I mean, I've never stayed more than 2 years in one company, so it's it was a good company, but I just got tired of it. It's like COVID, remote. You know, I was like exclusively working from home, which is my bedroom. Yes. And also it was a bit hectic, so I'm like, I'm gonna give it a break. But yeah, interesting stuff. And let me think. So you were in Japan. What's your marital status? Are you married?
I'm married. I had a baby 6 months ago.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
Excellent. So
yeah. What
great.
about you?
I also have a son who's 7 years old.
Wow.
I know. And I remember when he was little, and I was in transition as well. So I could enjoy a lot of his early, like waking up at night. I remember that as well. But anyway, you know, it's however difficult that is, it's like incredible moments. So I'm glad I had the chance to really be there. Now he's at school. When he comes back, talks about his stories with his friends, football and whatever. A lot less interesting. No, I'm joking. It's still very interesting, but I think the early first months, you know, are kind of special.
Absolutely. I've been lucky in a way. I mean, in the general unluck, I've been lucky that we had a lot of time on hand, both of us, but me and my wife, to spend together and with her. And she's been good. So actually the sleepless nights, no, actually we sleep well, and we had a we had a good time. The only thing, my wife is Korean Japanese, so she has very strong ties to Japan. And right now, for example, she's there. We went there after as soon as it was possible with the travel bans, and spent some time there. She stayed a little longer, so I came back by myself, and it's been like 3 weeks now that I don't have them. So it's
Oh, it's a long time. Are you going there?
I
Yes.
did already. I spent a month and a half in
I
Japan, and that was quite enough. I mean, more than especially because it's like with family, so it's a lot of
Yes, it's a long time. Can you speak Japanese?
Sorry?
Can you speak Japanese?
I can speak some Japanese, yeah.
Nice. Amazing.
Mm.
And did you say you were at your parents', or did I get that wrong?
Right now, yes, I came to visit them for a few days.
I didn't realize they were in Zurich. That's nice.
No. They are in Napoli. I came
okay,
here
okay.
To say hi. Yeah.
Okay.
This is my young age room.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised, but
No, they stayed here. They don't go anywhere.
I can see you've got some sun as well. It's been it's quite miserable here, but
I was shirtless on the balcony sunbathing before lunch, and as soon as the sun comes out of the clouds, I go back and it is still warm.
That's super enjoyable. So what are you up to? You were in banking, weren't you?
No, never. Oh shit! This is recording everything. Fuck.